Even experienced crafters can make a mistake. Hang on to see what I did. Hello and welcome back. This is episode 87. If you are a new viewer, please click the little red subscribe button down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And for those of you who watch me every single week, thank you so much for coming back every week to watch and to chat and to gab back and forth with each other. I notice our Facebook page, that's Katrina Knits, has had a lot of activity on it, and a lot more of you are joining in our little group over there and posting lots of pictures. And so if you are not subscribed or friended over on the Katrina Knits Facebook page, please do so. Go over and check it out. I will confirm you as a friend. And look at everybody's projects and post your own projects, and we're having a lot of fun. So let's get started. I have a finished object. If you watched earlier this week, I put a tutorial up. I'll put the little link to it right up here. I finished my sweater. So I did a tutorial on how to do the neck, the collar, and the beading, and how to join the shoulder seams, which I use a 3-needle bind off, which I think is easy, and it's actually very hard to even, I'm looking for the seam right now. It does that nice of a seam that it's hard to find it. Here is, I'll try to show it to you. Here is the actual shoulder seam. You can see it right along here. But that's how evenly it lines up. It's very easy to do, and yeah, it is my bind off of choice when I'm seaming things together like shoulder seams. That's what I always do, is the 3-needle bind off. The neckline on this is a rib stitch with some beading in it. You can see the little black beads all the way along here. And this was knit in the round until I got under the arms, and that's when I split it from the front to the back and did the neckline, and then I picked up the stitches at the neckline after I joined the shoulders. I did not use a pattern for this. If you would like to see the formula that I used for knitting this, it's very simple, and the formula I will also put a link up here, and you can check it out. It's very simple math to figure out, and it would apply for either knit or crochet. You can use the same formula for both. The bottom of this, because I was afraid of it being a little too short, and I don't like my shirts to be the length of a tunic, but I don't like it really short either. I'm full busted, and so I don't like my shirts to pull up, so I like them down a little bit. So I actually added an edge. You can see the rib stitch, and then I did a shell stitch below that. Let me see if I can show it to you a little bit easier. Okay, this is an eyelet stitch along here that I did just decoratively, and then right here is the rib stitch, and here is the shell stitch. So there you can see it a little bit better. So I put a decorative edge, and I put a shell stitch all the way around on the edge of the arms as well. Now, I have got an entire skein of the Lana Grossa left. I actually might make the sleeves, I might put a couple more rows of shell stitch. I've got the yarn. I don't know what else I would use the yarn for, because it's a very unique kind of yarn and it's discontinued. I'm not going to be able to find it anywhere else to add it to something. So I think I'm probably going to add a few more rows. Just right now, you saw I didn't show it to you yet. I will insert a picture of a little video of me modeling it for you. So I'll put that right here. So you could see in there that where this is a dropped shoulder, it doesn't have like attached sleeves. If I wanted to attach sleeves, I could have and just picked up the stitches here and knit out this direction, but I didn't because this is a cotton and bamboo sweater. It's very light. It's very, very comfortable. I am so pleased with how it fit. This is probably my best fitting sweater yet. I'm going to love wearing this, but I think I do want my sleeves. You could see in the video that they're kind of like capped sleeves. I think I want them a little bit longer than that. I need them to hide my bat wings. But anyway, so I think I'm going to put a few more shell stitches along the edge. So that is my finished object for the week. Now let's get on to my works in progress. First I have the Pirate Cove shawl. This is living in my Birdie and Poppet. It's a drawstring bag. I love this bag. It's like lined or something because it's kind of thick and squishy, almost like quilting. And I won this on a giveaway. So let me show you the colors I'm doing this in. This is all in cotton. It is Cascade Ultra Pima cotton yarn that I picked up actually at Halcyon Yarns up in Bath, Maine about 2 or 3 years ago. So these are the 3 colors. They do not have color names, they just have numbers. So this is kind of a pearly gray and a navy blue with lots of my hair attached. It's a wonder I'm not bald, but anyway. And then this is the multicolor, which is a gray. It's a gray and a light grayish white and a charcoaly gray, and then it has the navy blue in it as well. So let me show you the shawl. All right, this is where I was last week. You can see my stitch marker right here. And that's a little hamburger that I made, or cheeseburger actually, that I made out of polymer clay. And here is the shawl so far. Now, one thing I did want to tell you about, when you're knitting, and in this case, I've got 3 colors going up the side at once. I could clip each of these colors, and then I'd have tons and tons of ends to weave in. We don't want to do that. So you can't really see it real close, but I'm going to try to show you how to do this. There's a thing where you can carry the thread or yarn up through each row. So you do it right along this edge, which is your beginning edge, not the opposite side. What you're going to do is, you can see these 2 strands of yarn are down below. They're from the striping a couple rows down. This is the row I just finished. So say I was going to use this gray next. I take these 2, wind them down, basically wrap this around those yarns, and then I'll pull it up and knit. I just want to make sure I keep this snug, not tight, because it will pucker along the side. But you just kind of wrap this and then you keep on knitting, and you don't have to have all the threads wandering all over the place. They have to be woven in when you're done, because that's like no, I don't know a whole lot of people that like to weave in ends. And this one, because it changes right now, I'm in like a striping section with, it is, am I showing you the right side? Yeah. Anyway, it's got striping in it and a bunch of yarn overs. That's all this lacy work is just yarn overs. It's like yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. It's very easy, but it forms this eyelet lace, but I'm changing color every row. So I don't want to have to weave all those ends in. So I'm carrying it up. So that's just a little tip on how to carry your yarn up the side of your project. And like I said, this is Pirate's Cove. And it is by Hillary Designs. It's a free pattern. There it is. This is in black and white because the printer I used when I printed this out didn't have color. So it doesn't show up real well. It's a 3-color shawl, and it really doesn't require that much yarn. It just requires 3 skeins of yarn that are 220 yards each. So it's a total of 660 yards. So it's not a huge shawl. This is not going to be like over my shoulders, hang down my back. This is going to be more like a shawlette type of thing. So although it looks big in the picture here, so I don't know, most shawls are a little more yardage than that. So like I said, it only takes 3 balls of yarn to do this, so it's a real nice one, and it's a very easy pattern, and it's going very fast because you actually are knitting this with size 9, US 9s. These are not US 9s, these are US 8s, because I don't have a 9, apparently. Or if I do, it's living in some other project that's hiding from me, so I'm not sure. But I don't have 9s that I could find, so I'm actually knitting it on 8s. Otherwise, this would actually be a little bit bigger. So if I get to the end and I've got extra yarn, I'll just keep knitting garter stitch, because it starts in garter stitch and I think it ends in garter stitch. So if I end up with extra yarn, I'll just keep knitting till I run out. So that is that project. Next I have my Barton cardigan, which is not a cardigan right now, it's just the sleeve. I did not get as far on this as I had hoped this week because I started working on that sweater and I was determined I wanted to get it finished. So I did make some progress. You can see my progress keeper from last week. Here it is right here. So I've knit about 3 inches. I have 5 more to go. So let me put this on. I'm very pleased with this too. So there you can see it on my arm. I am so happy with how this, there you go, how this is fitting. Pardon me if I fall out of the chair, but I'm really happy how this is fitting around my wrist and around my arm. So I have to knit just up to like the shoulder area here where it joins the yoke of the sweater and then it gets put in. But this is just fitting just perfect so far. I'm really, really happy with it. It will stretch out a little bit when I block it, you know, because this hasn't been washed and it needs to be washed because it's got kind of an oily, I don't know if it's still got some lanolin in it. It is a wool blend. It's definitely not something I'm going to wear right against my skin because it's a little on the rustic, also known as scratchy side. But yeah, this is going along. So I'm getting there with it, and I hope this week to get one sleeve finished so I can get started on the second sleeve. So this is my Barton cardigan, minus the rest of the cardigan. And then my other project, and this is where my oops happened this week. This is my Mobius that is now going to be a cowl. Because when I read the pattern, and here's the pattern I'm using, it is a free pattern by redheart.com. It is called Crochet Shells Mobius. There it is. And you can see it fits over her shoulders. It's not going to fit over my shoulders because I made a beginner's error. I misread the pattern. It said that you would need, where do I find it? 2 balls of Red Heart Holiday yarn. So I thought, well, how much yarn is that? Well, I double checked it. It is 251 yards, and I need 2 balls of 251 yards, which means I need 502 yards. This is the yarn I am using, and it is 236 yards per skein, which should be enough. Did I read that right? No, I did not read. I did it again. I'm reversing things in my mind and thinking that the pattern is saying 215, which is what happened. I read it, thought it said 215, and thought, I'll be fine because I've got 236. No, I need 251 per skein. So that makes me 30 yards short. 30 yards is a lot. So let me show you. I've completed one entire skein of this. This is how big it is. And this is the direction it goes. You're knitting from the bottom up, but it turns sideways. So this is halfway through. This is 16 inches. Or no, 15 and a half. I did measure this. 15 and a half. Now, it is going to work for a cowl. I doubled this. I measured this and I doubled it because I know if I keep the same gauge, I'll get the same width out of this next skein. So it does come out to a total of 31 inches, which should go around my neck and hang to about like where my collar is fitting right here. So it's going to be a close-up cowl, but it is going to work. Anyway, my other alternative, if I wanted this to be a cowl, but not as deep as this is, because this is the part that goes up against your neck right here. So it's going to be kind of up against my neck, but down here. Like that. That's how I think it's going to work. So, yeah, I made a lot of progress on it. I might end up having to rip it all out. Last week, I was only here. But I sat in a 3-hour meeting this week, and I took this with me, and I knit all the way through here. So this is definitely striping, as you can see. It's like in wide, even stripes. So, yeah. I could rip all this out, make this just into a cowl, but not make it as wide as this. And then at least it would not be as close around my neck. But I hate to rip it all out. But I don't know. Let me know what you think, guys. If this is bunched up like a cowl and it's going to hang to about here, I guess it wouldn't be bad because it's going to fall right about here. Right about like that on me. So, I don't know if that's going to look right or not. Or if it's going to be like too much frou-frou-y right around my face. I guess if it's tucked down, it might not be bad. But it's just really bulky, so I'm not sure. Give me your opinion, what you think I should do. Should I rip it all out and start over again and make it just not as wide? Or, yeah, I don't know. I really had hoped it would be like over my shoulders like it is in the picture, but that's not going to happen unless I had like a couple more skeins of this. So give me your opinion, what you think. The crocheting part's going good though. I like it. Here you can see it up close. It is just a basic shell stitch is all this is. Not crazy about the neon green. I like the other colors. The neon is just not quite me, but there it is. So give me your opinion, guys. Tell me what you think I should do with this. It looks really pretty hanging like this, but I'd really like to be able to use it. So anyway, give me your opinion. That's my crochet faux pas for the week. Now, we have an upcoming tote along going on, and the Ravelry threads are open as of today. We have a chatter thread. The tote along begins officially Sunday, July 1st, but I'm opening it on Saturday, just in case you guys want to talk about what you're making. We have 2 different options. You can make a crochet tote bag, or you can make a knit tote bag. I'm going to have 2 threads in the Ravelry group. The Ravelry is KatrinasCreations, all one word, and it is a chatter thread, so you can get on and show pictures of what you're going to make and your progress and talk back and forth, whatever you want to do. Just keep it clean, that's all I ask. And the other will be a finished objects thread. So that one, please no chatter, just post your finished object. But it would be nice if you told us what yarn you used and what pattern you used. Because we're not limited. I have 2 patterns I went on and chose, but you're not limited to those 2 patterns. If you don't like either of those, you can pick any pattern you would like. We're just all making tote bags. So I'll show you the 2 that I have and tell you what you will need for those. So this is the crocheted one first. Both of these came from Yarnspirations. There is a link down below. If you click on the crochet tote, it will take you to this page. If you click on the knitting tote, it'll take you to the knitting tote. So this is I forget, this one has an official name, a striped market tote bag. So this one's called the striped market tote bag. Both of these are made with 100% cotton. They both used Lily's Sugar and Cream, but you can use whatever yarn you would like to use. You don't want to use something that's going to stretch, which is why they're using cotton, and you want something washable, so you're not going to want something that's got to be dry cleaned. So this is the market tote, striped market tote, right there. And it is going to call for, there's two different versions that you can make of it. They both call for 7 balls of yarn. And they just, when they talk about the versions, they just tell you which colors they used to make these two particular bags. But you can make them any color you want to make them, or solid color if you even want that. What you are going to need is a total of 840 yards of yarn, which is 763 meters. So you will need that. You will need a size F crochet hook, which is also a US 5 or 3.75 millimeter crochet hook to make this. So that is the crochet version. And then we have the knitting version, which is called the Getting Things Done Knit Tote. Here's a picture of it. And it is going to require 655 yards of yarn, which is 599 meters. And you are going to knit this on a US 6, which is a 4 millimeter needle. So those are the two things you are going to need. With the knitting one, I do want to point out a correction. It's not so much a correction as it's something that's omitted in this pattern. And thank you, Kathy Tinkler, for pointing this one out, because she contacted me and said, what do you use these stitch markers for? In the pattern, and both of these patterns are free, it says in the knitting version, cast off, place markers at the center of the cast on and the cast off edges. They're not going to be markers, regular stitch markers. They've got to be removable stitch markers, because otherwise you would never get them back out of the yarn again. They would be caught up in the bind off. So yeah, they did not put, they should have put the word removable stitch marker or progress keeper, so that when you're finished with it, you can take it out. And the purpose of these, they're not really necessary, but the reason they have these written into the pattern is, with the knitting pattern, you're knitting a front panel and a back panel, and then you're going to sew those or seam those to the base. The stitch markers are to mark the two sides on each side where you're going to have those seams fall. Sort of like the little notches when you go to sew and you're looking at a pattern and they have you match the little pointy notches together. That's kind of what they're having these stitch markers, or yeah, that's what they're serving the purpose of. But they should have pointed out that they need to be removable stitch markers. You're just sticking them in there to place mark. If you don't have stitch markers, a paper clip will do the same job. Especially for this, because you're basically just marking where those seams are going to go. So, like I said, nothing you need to buy. If you don't have removable stitch markers or progress keepers, just use a paper clip. Something you can take back off again, or a safety pin. Safety pins work too. So, those are the two patterns that we're doing, but you are, like I said, welcome to do any pattern, or you can just fake it and make your own pattern up as you go. We really don't care. Just have fun. And we do have a prize. We are going to run this tote along, as I'm calling it. I didn't want to call it a knit along or a crochet along, because we're doing both. So we're just going to call it a tote along. It is going to run from July 1st until August 31st. And the following day, on September 1st, I will draw a winner from the finished objects thread in the Ravelry. This is the yarn that someone will win. This was from a Knit Crate box this past month. So this was from the June Knit Crate the Artisan Sock Box is what this one came out of. It is less traveled yarn, and the color is Lolita. So I get that close so the glare isn't on it. And it is sock weight yarn. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and there's 450 yards out of it. So you could do socks, or you could do a small shawl or a hat or fingerless mitts. Well, you could even do mitts with fingers. So lots of things you can do with 450 yards of sock yarn. So this is going to be the prize, and it is extremely soft, guys. It's like cuddling it. So that is going to be the prize. Now let's talk about the virus versus granny shawl. Now last week I had everybody tell me, I gave you 3 choices. First, let me show you the pattern. This is by Miss Ginty. It's a Cozy Crochet Nook Miss Ginty Designs Virus Meets Granny Shawl. And there it is. So the eyelet spots here that you can see in the pattern right here, those are the virus shawl. The parts that are more solid looking right here, that is the granny, like the granny stripe blanket that a lot of people are making out of their scrap leftovers or their little mini skeins. They're making these granny stripe blankets. Well, that's what is in this pattern. So it's granny stripe and virus shawl combined. So last week I gave you 3 different options of some yarn I was going to make. I had maroon, I had purple, and I had some greens. And I said, let's all take a vote and we'll see what I'm going to do. So here's how the statistics are at the time of filming. We had 13 people vote for the purple. We had 26 vote for the green. We had 56 go for the maroon. So the maroon is the color I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing it in 3 different colors. Instead of, like, I'm not doing it in just 1 color, I'm doing it in 3. And so now I will tell you a little bit about these yarns. The first one, this is Ancient Arts Fibers. This is a purple, it's like magenta and blue, and there's some black. And for those of you who wondered why I had a gray that was going to go with this, let's see if I can show you. There is gray in this, right here. So there is some gray and some charcoal blacks in here, but there is like gray speckles. So that's where I came up with the gray to put with it. You can see a little bit more of the gray in here too. So the other 2 colors that are going with me. I guess I should tell you what this is first. I said Ancient Arts yarn. It is, the color name is called Passion 8. Really? Would have named it something else. Oh no, it says to boldly go. Okay. I guess that's the sock base. The base that is on is called Passion 8. To boldly go, which is a reference to Star Trek, if you remember the entry, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Yeah, that's where this is coming from, I'm assuming, because it does kind of look like intergalactic colors. There you can really see the colors good. So with this, I am putting, this is an 80% merino, 20% nylon, and there are 400 meters or 437 yards in this. And then the other 2 colors, these are LRA Cozy Soft that are going with this. And let me see what their fiber content is. They actually have some acrylic. They're 75% acrylic, 25% wool. So you can see that this has the same maroons in it, same purples and maroons. And then I picked up those little bits of gray that are in there as well. So there it is all together. So I get that without the labels in the picture. Let me turn that direction. There we go. So those are the colors. I dropped yarn last week. I'm doing it again. I am not a juggler, obviously. But anyway, that is the colors that I am putting together. And that will be in my Granny versus Virus. My Virus meets Granny shawl. I keep saying versus. It's not. It's yeah. Let's try it again. It's Virus meets granny shawl. And yeah, holding yarn. Apparently I'm yarn challenged. So I will be starting this after I figure out what to do with the Mobius disaster. So that's my next project. And I think I've showed you already the yarn I'm going to do my tote bag in. I haven't decided if I'm going to crochet or if I'm going to knit. I have plenty of yarn. I have a total for either one of the bags. What I'm going to be knitting this with is Cascade Sierra, and it is 80% Pima cotton, 20% wool. And I'm doing mine in fall colors. There it is. And I have 6 skeins, so I have 2 of each of these colors. So I have more than enough yarn. I have altogether 1,146 yards. So no matter which skein, whichever tote bag I decide to go with, I will have plenty. So that is sitting there ready to get started. I got to figure out which one I want to do. So not real sure. I'm leaning toward the crochet, I'm not sure. I looked at the knitting one, and the knitting one is a lot of seed stitch, which I'm not crazy about doing. I don't have to do seed stitch. I could do it in garter. And if you don't want to do it in seed stitch, you could do it in garter. You don't want to do it in stockinette because it doesn't give enough structure. So you do want to do it either garter or seed stitch. So I haven't decided, but I'm leaning toward the crochet to do the tote bag just because I think it might make it a little bit more sturdy. We'll see. And since I've got plenty of yarn, I don't have to worry about my Mobius incident. It's going to be like the reoccurring theme all the way through this podcast. My Mobius incident. Yeah. You guys never make these kind of mistakes, right? Yeah. Definitely an oops on my part. So now we are on to our sales. This is going to be a shorter podcast this week. My nose is itchy because now all the yarn is like around my face. So let me run through our sales. And I did look, since these projects all call for cotton, I did do a little looking on the affiliate sites to see what they've got. And if you're interested in any of these, all of the links are right down below in the description box. Just click the show more and it'll drop down, and just search through there and you'll find it. So we have Knit Crate, as I've been advertising, is running 20% off of their your first subscription box, but you must put in KCreations20 to get that 20% off. But as regards to the cotton, Knit Picks, if you go to the link down below, click on yarn, click on fiber, and then click on fiber content, and then click cotton. And they do have some cotton yarns starting at $2.09. They even have some that is undyed, so if you wanted to grab some that's really cheap and try dyeing it for your tote bag, you could do that. So they have some starting at $2.09. Craftsy has cotton starting just above $3. To get to the cotton on that site, you just need to click on yarn and then select cotton in the drop-down fiber. It has a little drop-down window. Just click on cotton and it'll take you to what they've got. And they have several yarns that are right around just above $3. I think they're about, like, I don't know, $3.40, something like that. Just a little over $3, between $3 and $4. Lion Brand yarn has been running, just in case you're interested. This is nothing to do with our tote, but they are running 20% off of their shawl in a ball or shawl in a cake. So it's running for $7.99 right now for either of those types of yarn, if you're interested in that. But they also, if you go to their website that's down below here, click on Our Yarns, click Fiber, and then click Cotton. They have some cotton yarns starting at $3.69. And then Annie's, Annie's Craft Shop, which gave us the giveaway for the Crochet magazine last week, also has, just like how Craftsy has crafting videos that you can watch, they have the same thing. They have over 500 videos and patterns available. and they're offering a free 30-day trial. So you can try their craft videos for free for 30 days. And after that, if you decide you like it and you want to subscribe, it's only $7.99 a month. That's even cheaper than Craftsy is. So yeah, for $7.99 a month, you could have unlimited access to all different types. And they've got the sewing and the quilting and crochet and knit. Go over and check them out. But anyway, they are offering a 30-day free trial. So that is our sales for this week. I think that's it. So for those of you who live in the U.S., we are celebrating Independence Day this week on Wednesday. So happy 4th of July. Have fun with your family with picnics and fireworks and all that kind of good stuff. And otherwise, I will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. And check out our Facebook page, and the Ravelry page will be up as of the time you're watching this now. So that's it for this week. I will see you again next Saturday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.